I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night, whoever you be watching this transmission. All right, guys, so no one's going to know we're here because the last stream just got terminated through the beginning. I checked, the channel's not banned. So usually I've been doing live streams before where the channel would get a strike or get banned, and I would have to lose, and I wouldn't even know I'm banned, and then, yeah. So it looks like we're back. If someone could share this, nobody knows we're here tonight. So everyone's gonna miss this tonight's show because nobody knows we're here. So if someone doesn't mind sharing this on their platforms, I would really appreciate that very much. Anyways, guys, welcome to Trends in the Housing Market again. If you could bear with me for 1 sec, I'm just gonna. So it looks like we're back. I'm just gonna grab the stream here and put it into our community because nobody is gonna know we're here now because they think they're at the other stream. So I'm just gonna say here we are live real quick. I'm really sorry about this, guys, wasting your time. Yeah, it's just hard when you don't have a platform that really wants you on their platform, but they need people now. So, okay, just got notified. Okay, people getting notified. 17. Okay, good. So people are knowing that we're here live. Okay, guys, I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night. It is Wednesday, June 29, 2022, and it is 6:14 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you, guys, for joining us on Trends in the Housing Market. All right. I hope this one works. I hope that they don't cut us off midst or just for no reason. So let's go into a quick channel plug, and then we are off to what's happening in the housing market. And a lot of people are really happy that we brought this show back, and I'm happy that you're happy. So it's only an hour long. We don't get too intense with it. So there it is, guys. Don't forget to check out artbydano.com, artbydano.net, not your typical art. You can find Dano at the Huntington Beach Pier in California. And mikeandthenight.com, kiwiradio.nz. Go ahead and find back episodes of Mike and the Night here you could download and listen to on MP3 format. And the Mike and the Night on Odyssey is still going on. Episode 446, Blackouts to Suppress the Truth. So we're going to be headed into some really dark times this winter of 2022. And unfortunately, we are not allowed to talk about any of this stuff on this platform here. So there it is right there. Just kind of want to let you guys know on Odyssey. Check us out. And I'm also on Brighteon. Don't forget to check out Brighteon if you want to find out what is going on. All right. A lot of people are saying, so happy you brought the show back, Trends in the Housing Market. So I'm happy.
Good morning.
We got our soundboard ready to go.
Give that best friend a cookie.
And our soundboard is ready to go here tonight. Okay.
I'm a lawyer. JT. I'm a lawyer.
Okay. So I'm just checking my soundboard here, making sure it's all working. Computers have been going through these mandatory updates, and it's just ruining them. And it's just it's being done on purpose. There's no way they're going to give you updates to purposely make your computer better. They won't do that. So I don't know. Anyways, that's a topic for Mike in the Night. We can't be discussing this here on this platform. So anyways, let's get over to here. So we asked you guys here in today's video. Do we raise rates to curb inflation, or do we enter hyperinflation territory? Buy food now. So that is a very important question we need to ask because that's where we're headed. So a lot of people said, 46% of you guys voted, said yes, they will raise rates to curb inflation. 2% says no, they can't. I have too much to lose. 42% say I see hyperinflation on the horizon. And 10% say I have no debt, so I don't care. And I'm in that boat, 10%. I did not buy my house to make money from it or have illegal suites, which they're accusing me of having illegal suites. And they even prorated how much tax I should have paid them over the last 6 years with my house, with my illegal suite that I don't have. But meanwhile, it's so blatant where I don't know, I'm not going to get into that in the show, but yeah.
Hiya, pal.
All right, so people are hearing me. Okay, good. Everything's rolling good right now tonight on Trends in the Housing Market. Man, do I have a show and a half for you. Okay, well, here it is. Shaky housing adds 7 trillion hazard to Australia's economy. Now, Australia's economy is built off of shadow banking, money laundering, and foreign investing, illegal investing, money being laundered through casinos. And if you go through our channel Time Machine, Westpac, here it is, Westpac, one of the biggest banks in Australia, faces fines over money laundering breaches. And they had 23 million money laundering breaches in less than 10 months. I thought that was a year, but it's less than 10 months. So this is not, correction for you guys listening, this is not $23 million laundered. This is 23 million occasions of money laundering breaches, right, in one bank of Australia. So Australia is just like the blue states of America, Canada, New Zealand, basically built their economy off a housing scam, impoverished the middle class, made housing unaffordable for the middle class, period. There's a lot of people that are immigrating to Canada that are taking the place of the European extension that came here to build, like my dad. They came to build the infrastructure and the streets, the sidewalks, and the whole 9 yards. And unfortunately, we're being replaced, but a lot of people that are coming come from countries where only the very rich could afford to own property. And they're used to that. So they come to Canada and they realize, well, I'm not going to own a property here because in my country, I can't own one either. So they're trying to take away the good life that we built over the last, 2-3 decades here well, 2 decades ago, 3 decades back here in the West, right? So that's becoming it's no longer it's no longer a dream. It's no longer an obtainable dream. So economists agree Australia's housing prices are about to sink. What they're not so aligned on is how much a slide in the country's $10 trillion property market will drag the economy down with it. So with interest rates rising and inflation yet to peak, so they're even admitting here in the article that inflation is yet to peak. That's unheard of. Well, it's Bloomberg, so they kind of need to be kind of ahead of the curve. Inflation's nowhere near where it needs to peak, folks, so sit back and relax. Few expected an economy that's 60% fueled by consumption to escape the unscathed from the housing correction. While some economists are talking of recession, others expect Australia's consumer to withstand the reversal of the wealth effect that accelerated during the you-know-what, right? So I'm not going to throw that out there because I don't want to get my channel banned. And our RBNZ chief economist, tide may have turned against housing being a one-way bet. So there it is. Wellington, New Zealand's reverse bank chief economist Paul Conway said in a speech released on Thursday that the dynamics in the New Zealand housing market are likely to change over the longer term. So again, there's too much money that's been laundered through Australia and so much shadow banking and illegal banking. And ANZ warns of a deeper New Zealand housing market collapse. So there it is. The housing market is continuing to cool with May prices down 5.5 points from the November 2021 peak. Remember, this is during the you-know-what was peaking because all these countries were competing for foreign money. They were even paying foreign investors to buy property in their countries. I'm not making this up. Seasonal adjustment, the 6 months in a row of moderate house price falls, not a crash by any means, but a reflection of the current cooler fundamentals of the market. So unless people start, there it is right there. There's the lockdown disruption that they're calling it now. And there it is right there. The unprecedented during the you-know-what. And let's keep going here. London house prices defy economic gloom, but buyers show increasing nervousness about taking on debt. So London house prices rose 7.9% in a year to April 2022, bringing the average value of a home to £529,000. And I want to throw this out there tonight to help people that are paying that much for a home. Look at this house in Arkansas. It's $179, 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 4,000 square feet. That's about 200. That's okay. That's 150,000 pounds, maybe 145,000 pounds. It's a relic from the Civil War, 4,000 square feet. It's on an acre of land. It's got forced air conditioning. It's got central air, and it's got a carport. So there it is there. I just kind of want to show this out there for people, what they're buying in some places and what they could be getting Basically, yeah, anyways, I'm not going to jump on that too much right now because I don't want to get you guys upset and mad at me already in the show. So there it is right there. So house prices rose 12.4% to £281,000 according to land registry figures. Again, London, England and Ireland, all those countries were plagued with foreign investing. Let's type in Ireland in the channel. Let's see what comes up in the channel time machine. Ireland to walk, okay, yearbook. Homeless people in Ireland. Homeless people. Ireland, massive housing crisis. Sky high rents spreading across Ireland. Ireland housing depression. Ireland housing disaster. Foreign investors going to Ireland. So there it is. Foreign investors now going to Ireland and taking over. And it's just one English-speaking country after another. Dublin and Edinburgh, Scotland. Economic takeover, London, Dublin, Edinburgh, UK, mass exodus, UK housing crisis. There you go. Again, when they're competing for money laundering, the money laundering or shadow banking or dark money or whatever, it's very hard for the local people that actually are honest and work honest jobs to actually compete. You know what I'm saying, with them. So V-Man is saying that's too much for Arkansas. Yes, that house is too expensive for art. You could probably get that for $110,000, that house I showed you. You can't build that in Canada. To build that in Canada, $840,000 to build it in Canada because it's in Canada. And you're going to pay property tax through the nose for that in Canada. You might have one stoplight in your town, but you're paying $4 or $5 grand a year for that. Oh, an acre of land? You're paying $8-9 grand a year for that in Canada. All right, let's keep going here. Where were we? Okay, so the housing market just hit the brakes. What happens now? So this is Forbes reporting. Nobody cares. In New York, felt the housing market went from hot to cold in the span of only a week. The phone, which often have been ringing off the hook, she says began to ring just a few times a day. Open houses have been attracting dozens of prospective buyers. And suddenly, some had zero traffic. So there it is right now. New York is facing this. Down. Oh, okay, look, there's the current mortgage rate. So you could actually, it's a mortgage. It's a live mortgage calculator. So 325. If this was in Canada, this would be for a garage. No, garages go for $600,000 in Toronto. So a garage for a car. 325, 20% down. Where's the show more up monthly payment? So what would the monthly payment be on this? Purchase. Oh, okay. Okay, let's put a zip code in there. See what that comes out to. 325. It doesn't show what the payment's going to be on that. Okay, never mind. So there it goes right there. And what buyers need to know in changing housing market? Well, it's changing in Canada specifically because Canada would be in a recession without money laundering. We bring this up. This is before the you-know-what here. And basically tons of money. There it is by province. Canada, not once but twice, actually shut down their money laundering investigation because they felt it wasn't fair for the local Canadians that actually pay taxes. Or I don't know how to make that sarcastic enough to make you guys laugh. But the Canadian middle class was bought out by, again, money laundering and shadow banking. Some people say, oh, foreign investing is 5%. Okay, I believe that. Then there's money laundering, illegal, dark web activities, 12%. And I think another 8 or 9% has to do with just all kinds of weird racketeering that's going on through housing. And they're using it. All right, we got Lord Humongous in the house. We got Freedom Prospector in the house. Freedom Prospector saying, I'm debating on buying a small houseboat and just anchoring out like a rich hobo. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, especially with property taxes. So Peter O'Brien is saying in New Zealand there is no stamp duty on the sale of the house, so the only revenue is the government gets from the housing is the GST on rates. Oh, in Canada here we have to pay property tax. property tax for a house we already own. And the reason why Canada or English-speaking countries is because they were fighting over capital that was coming out of Hong Kong. So there it is. Here you go. A record flight of capital, $43.6 billion from Hong Kong to Canada as China cracks down. So basically, during the height of the you-know-what, this is $43 billion that they know of. You know what, guys? I've been talking to people across Canada, and they're telling me it's around the $260 billion mark of money that came in from Hong Kong into Canada. And that's what's fueled our housing market during the you-know-what. And Canada, unfortunately, lost its deal. The Taiwanese are getting smart, and a lot of the mainland Chinese that want out of China are getting smart. They are no longer looking at Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Canada can't land this investment agreement with Taiwan to bring in billions of dollars. Like we said on Mike of the Night, as China saber rattles and Canada takes the side of China because they have to, but then Canada looks at Taiwan and says, come to us, we'll help you. We'll save you from this tyranny in China. So Canada plays both parts of the coin. Basically, the heads they win, tails they lose. So this is hundreds of billions of dollars that Canada missed out on. So our housing market now is going to start tanking in Canada and other parts of the English-speaking world. Where are the Chinese going? They're going to Singapore. The Chinese now are signing deals with Singapore. Singapore lures new wave of Chinese investors eyeing good schools and stability. Now let me throw this. Wow, Debbie Kozak, $50. Holy crap. Debbie Kozak just sent me a $50 super chat. Holy crap. I know Debbie from, I don't know, like the last 3, 4, 5 years on the channel. Thank you so much. I never really get super chats, but I appreciate that. Okay, so where are the Chinese going? Well, they're going to Singapore. Singapore, now let's take a look at Singapore. A majority of the people who are considered middle class don't own property in Singapore. So they just work and they rent and they live in big cities and they just get by. So housing being built for wealthy Chinese investors wouldn't be too much of a burden for them. It'd be like, okay, we're getting more people, and so we could serve more people, right? Or we could, you know what I'm saying? The city has tightened its global investor program rules over the years, such as requiring applicants to manage firms with revenues of 200 million plus, but interest continues to be strong. So there it is. Luxury property purchases by Chinese buyers have long made headlines in Singapore, but quietly Chinese money has also been flowing into the city-states. Many fund management companies. So they're doing what they did in the blue states of America for the last 20, 30 years, and they're doing what they did to Canada in 2010, and Australia in 2010, and New Zealand and the UK in 2010. And as Chinese buyer drops 61 million on 20 condo units, 61 million. Imagine how many of these homes you could buy. 61 million. Wow. Imagine how many of these homes you could buy for $61 million. I don't know the math on that, but that's in the United States. That's in a red state of America. So I don't know. Anyways, so the Taiwanese are fleeing to. The Chinese and the Taiwanese, are fleeing to Singapore. Singapore's move to raise taxes up to 30% for foreign buyers just came last December, but it did not stop the Chinese buyer from snapping up 20 condominiums. So they are raising the foreign buyers tax to help ease governments, to help governments, so to say, right? All right, let's keep going on here. Let's go. So Canadian real estate prices are on track to drop $68,000 by midsummer, and that's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket. Again, if you owned a house like this and it dropped $68,000, you'd probably be very upset. But $68,000 still is a drop in the bucket for the houses that are $800,000, $900,000, $2 million, right? $800,000 to $2 million, right? So that's Better Dwelling reporting that. And almost no one believes a soft landing for the economy is still possible. It's virtually impossible because, again, a majority of this is not the same type of economic correction that we have faced in the past. This is going to be a very different economic correction because of the dirty money. There's so much dirty money in these English-speaking countries that for it to fall off, I mean, it's because, okay, it's very simple. The only way housing is going to make its correction properly is when housing is within wages. When wages are tied in real estate, wages and income are tied to real estate, period. Once wages and income are tied to real estate prices, then you'll see a correction of about 75% because these houses are so overinflated, right? And that's the problem. This is the problem that they're facing, that we're facing here in Canada. Is a lot of people bought at the top. At the top, meaning they think they bought at the right time, but a lot of people have been eating off their homes and using their homes as ATM machines to continue the party. Sydney, Melbourne set to lead property price tumble with other cities to follow. An interest rate rise. Prices are already down 3% in Sydney and 1.8% in Melbourne, with other capitals tipped to follow suit. So there it is right there. Arizona. How housing market is cooling quickly. And again, why did the Arizona housing market go nuts? Well, because of Amerifornia. The amount of people leaving California, Oregon. Let's go to the channel time machine here. So Americans fleeing most expensive U.S. cities. So there it is right there. I think Oregon's in there because Oregon. Yeah, Portland has one of the most affordable median house prices, which makes it attractive. Oh, this is before for the Californians. Hold on. Washington State massive housing crisis. The blue state exodus gains momentum. So if you are a blue-leaning California and wants to escape the Golden State's drift into madness, but stay on the left. So there it is right there. Let's see what else we have for Oregon here. Portland. Portland, finding people for sleeping in RVs. Let me see what else we have here. China has finished. Hong Kong boasts pricing ordinary Canadians out of the housing market. Let's see if we don't have much for Oregon because we did cover it on trends in the housing market. That's why. Let's type in Washington, another blue state. Washington, massive housing crisis. Just trying to see if we could get this. Toronto housing market on fire. I did more in Washington State. Investors pump up Toronto real estate market, and Seattle are fleeing to Seattle and Toronto. But I'm trying to, we did so many. Oh, maybe I spelled Washington wrong. Hold on. I don't think I did. No, I didn't. I did more. Like Seattle. Maybe let's type in Seattle here. That's impossible. It's like at least, Seattle housing crisis. Chinese buying dries up. What else we got? Seattle needs more Chinese. Housing disaster affordability. Chinese to take over Seattle housing market. Amerifornia is coming. That's 4 years ago. So this has been a big problem that we've been having in these Western English-speaking countries. So while the Chinese were buying up the blue states, everyone was fleeing and moving to Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico, and Texas. So Arizona's hot housing market is cooling down quickly. In the past 28 days, 11,845 new residential listings were added in the greater Phoenix area, according to the Crumford report. It's a 34% jump in new listings compared to the average. At the same time, rising mortgage interest rates are pricing some would-be buyers out of the market. No, you're going to see a massive oversupply on the market because people are just going to get fed up and tired with just the borrowing costs going up. State local leaders brainstorm solutions to Nevada housing crisis. This is Fox 5 Las Vegas. State and local leaders converge in Las Vegas to address the housing crisis and shortage affecting hundreds of thousands of Nevadans, brainstorming solutions ahead of the 2023 legislative session. So there it is. We don't want that to happen. We want our citizens to remain here. Again, it's pushing people further east and creating Amerifornia. The Observer is reporting a housing supply fails to meet demand in Dallas. The rents too darn high. So there it is. By now, you probably already feel the pinch as more and more people move to Texas. At least surprising thing ever is happening in Dallas. Rents are skyrocketing. So The Texas Realtor 2021 relocation report found that between 537,000 and 582 people moved to Texas in 2019, and the state ranked second overall in relocation activity in the same year. But with this influx of new people come the problem of where they are going to live, and demand is now higher than supply. So last trends in the housing market, we actually discussed the whole foreign investing, people buying homes and leaving them empty. We were discussing about 28 units sold to one guy and left them empty. So I think it's more and more, it could be, again, it's people parking money in other places and trying to, do I see foreign investing in okay, let's type in Texas on the channel, see what we get for Texas. We didn't do too much Texas on the channel, but let's see what we got. Texas power grid, housing crash, Seattle, Portland, California, moving to Texas. No, okay, just reopen. They cut off all of us. See, there's really nothing. There's one here. China's destroying American middle class via housing affordability, but that's, again, in the blue states, right? So I'm not seeing really anything for Texas when it comes to figuring out what's happening in Texas. But I know Texas has been under attack by a lot of people, from California, Oregon, and Washington State, right? And now people from Nevada, and New Mexico and Arizona are going to be going to Texas now, and that's pushing more in, right? Okay, Seattle just ranked as one of the worst housing markets for first-time homebuyers, and then Seattle's a few years behind Vancouver. We were having this problem 3 years ago in Vancouver, and it's catching up to Seattle now because Seattleites, Chinese investing in Seattle at frantic pace after Vancouver in 2017 put the foreign buyers tax on. A ton of investors went down to Seattle. So I brought this up because it's got an interesting graph here for you guys. So San Diego, blue state, again, Orlando. Look at Orlando up there in Florida. Wow. So first-time home buyers in Orlando are getting priced. Look at that. San Francisco, no surprise there. Houston, look at that. Texas. Denver and Colorado, look at that. 18.3 points. San Jose, 17.775. Riverside, California, 17%. Seattle, 17%. Las Vegas, Los Angeles. So you got all these West Coast cities, but I'm shocked to see Orlando in there. Wow. I'm so shocked to see Orlando in that. Holy crap. So the bottom 10 metro areas for first-time home buyers. Wow. And Houston's a little bit of a shock because, I mean, a lot of those states their incomes have been tied to real estate prices. Horrifying New York City rental markets fuels hour-long lines to see an apartment. So, guys, brace yourselves. This is a beautiful video I'm going to show you guys. This 371 square foot, one bedroom, third floor walk up. So there's no elevator. So if you're disabled, good luck. $2,337. Yeah, so there it is. This is $2,337 a month. So let's take a look at this. This is beautiful. Look at that. That's it. You saw it. There it is. You saw it. Let's go back. You saw it. Here it is. Let's see it again. And you saw it. There it is. There it is. 337 square foot. I hope you guys enjoy seeing that, but that's 371 square feet. And let's see it one more time. And you saw it. There it goes. And I was looking at housing, looking at this $2,337 a month. I mean, you could easily pay something like this off in 12, 13 years for that much per month. Easily. And I'm not understanding what the hell is going on. Canadians are buying up or snapping up the last affordable cities available in Canada. Let me go to the channel here to show you guys the videos that we put up that relate to housing here. Okay, so we got this one here. Let me see if I can delete this. I can't. I got this. Okay, so rate hike or hyperinflation. Do we raise rates to curb inflation, or do we do we go into hyperinflation? Right? Do we raise rates to curb inflation, or do we go into hyperinflation? That was the video question there. Food riots ahead. Rental prices increasing all over. Middle class forced into homelessness. And Canadians fleeing Ontario, Canada in a frantic pace, right? Just like foreign investors were leaving Vancouver in a frantic pace. Let's see if I could find that video. Frantic pace. Toronto slaps on foreign buyers tax. And yeah, that was basically pushing foreign investors at a frantic pace to Seattle and Toronto. Wow, they're deleting so many of my videos. Why? Pace? Why? Canadians are borrowing against real estate at the fastest pace. The great Canadian peso is here. Man, why are they taking down my videos for? Why? Chinese to take over Seattle housing market. Amerifornia is coming. Okay, so there's something there. Let's see if there's a...
YouTubers.
There we go. Foreign buyers overlooking Vancouver heading to Seattle in frantic pace. I love frantic pace. So, but when people tell you, yeah, Mike, like, housing has nothing to do, like the price of housing has nothing to do with foreign investors. Frantic pace. That's all you have to say to them. Oh, Nitton's in the house. Super Ponzi scheme. That's what it is, guys. Frantic pace after they put the foreign buyers tax in. And if it wasn't the foreign buyers that were pumping up the markets, then why are they going to Seattle and Toronto in a frantic pace? It makes no sense to me. All right, let's see if we can get a caller on today's show. If we can't, then I'll just keep talking for a little bit. And I'm trying to get Steve the Plumber on because he's one of the originals. But he just calls me at weird times, so I can't get a hold of him when I'm live. But he calls me at weird times to talk to me, but I can't line him up to come on the shows. That's been a bit of a problem. But hey, oh well. Okay, let me see if I can get Heiza Says. Let me see if he's there. Oh, he hasn't replied to me. I messaged him a few times on here too. He hasn't. A lot of people don't turn on their Skype, so. And
You must be Stan. How you doing? Are you Mr. McAllister?
All right, guys, let's do a quick channel plug here. I appreciate Debbie Kozak for sending me a $50 super chat. I never really get any super chats, but it's nice to get one once in a while, you know. All right, artbydano.com, artbydano.net, not your typical art. Don't forget to check out Dano at the Huntington Beach Pier in California. And mikeofthenight.com, Mike of the Night Radio, Mike of the Night, kiwi.radio.nz. Don't forget to check out Mike of the Night, and you can download MP3 versions of Mike of the Night. And we got our episode lineup for this Saturday, Mike of the Night on Odyssey. Unfortunately, we just can't discuss. I'll give you a link to the live stream if you haven't checked it out yet. Blackouts to suppress the truth. They're going to have to take that move. Unfortunately, we just cannot discuss that here on this channel because it will shut it down. And I'm also on Brighteon, so check out Brighteon if you can. All right, guys, so what is going on? Let's see if we can get a caller in. A lot of people don't even know we're live right now. And, okay, somebody just added me on Skype here, but it's not, it's somewhere else. I don't know. Ooh, there's Steve right there. Let's see if he picks up the phone.
Yeah, grab the top floor. Hello?
Steve, what's up, buddy?
The day in paradise. How you doing, Mikey?
I'm doing good. You are live on Trends in the Housing Market.
LIVE live. Awesome. What's happening?
I wanted to get you on the show. This is our second episode back, and I wanted to. Did you catch the first episode of our return?
I caught half, like probably maybe halfway through.
Yeah, because Gary called in the second part of the show. He was pretty good. So I wanted to get you on the show if it was possible because you're one of the founding fathers of this discussion group. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, is that right? Okay, I thought there was people before me, but
no. But I mean,
late to it.
You know, there was a lot. But what I'm saying is you were very dedicated, so to say, and
Okay, that's cool.
and calling in and giving us information. So, what can you tell? What are you allowed to tell us? What's going on?
I think everything that was supposed to happen before the pandemic, or was starting to happen before the pandemic, is now happening. I think interest rates are going to soar, and I'm going to be pretty busy like I am right now for, I'm going to say, a better part of 2 or 3 years here before we see the bottom.
Because right now, Canada's having a really tough time securing any money laundering anymore. A lot of the Taiwanese and the Chinese, mainland Chinese investors, they're all going to Singapore now. They've retracted from Australia. They're no longer coming to Canada because of what happened in 2020, 2021 during the pandemic. And I opened the article here that Canada managed to get close to $300 billion in money from Hong Kong because Canada was playing both parts of the Canada was playing both parts of the coin during the Hong Kong riots in 2019, and they managed to secure close to $260, maybe $300 billion in from Hong Kong. But now the Taiwanese aren't buying it, and neither are any other mainland Chinese investors. They're going to Singapore now.
Yeah, I heard about that. There's a mass exit going on right now with respect to people in Southern Ontario. I would imagine there's going to be, other provinces that are greatly affected by what's going on here. But one thing's for sure, this is only a little taste. This is going to get a lot worse, real quick, real fast. People just simply can't afford what they have. And if they were enabled by a bank or a financial institution to get into the market with a, small down payment of, even 20 or 25%, they're already in a negative equity position. Mike, I'm seeing it right now. And it's not good. We took 5 people's houses today.
Wow. So people watching that don't know, for people watching that don't know Steve, he's actually a plumber, so he's not a repo man. Steve is not a repo man, okay, at all. Steve is just a guy that takes care of properties, right, Steve?
Yeah, that's exactly right. When the custom home building, dried up and whatnot, we had to fill that void as a company. So we turned to some bank work, and it's not glamorous work. Go in, meet the bailiff, and winterize the house, and check the primary heat source, and be on your way. There's really not much to it. It pays half decent, and hey, it keeps the guys busy, right?
It does. Oh, there's no problem with that, but I just want people to know that are just jumping on the channel that you're doing, you are seeing it on the front lines and what's happening. And I'm too bad you can't see the screen, Steve, but I'm showing people properties that it would cost close to over $800,000 just to build in Canada, selling on 1 acre of land, 5 bedrooms, 4,000 square feet in Arkansas with forced air conditioner and central air, and on an acre of land for $179,000. And to build this, with balconies, it looks like the White House. And unfortunately, Canadians don't have this. Tell Americans how lucky they are. Like, I mean, if they just want to have a job, tell them how lucky, because they don't know. Because Canadians, when they flee Ontario, there's almost nowhere. And then you start getting to other cities, they have their other negative impacts on them too. There's a lot of crime in Edmonton. A lot of people are moving to Edmonton, but they don't realize how high the crime rate is there too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's extremely high, and the drugs is just absolutely, it's insane. It's worse than Vancouver. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the U.S. people that I talk to, they're complaining, and they complain about superficial stuff in the grand scheme of things. They don't realize how good they have it.
Yeah.
I mean, we complain about our prime minister for good reason, and they complain about, their president. And I mean, at the end of the day, let's face it, their biggest concern right now should be that there's a 78-year-old man walking around and doesn't know what he's doing and thinks he's the president of the United States. So that's their biggest problem.
Mm-hmm. And the Americans don't know. I mean, look at this: 154,000, 5 bedrooms, 4,400 square foot home, $5K price cut, $154,900, $844 a month. half an acre, and they're paying $35 per square foot. And Steve, I wish you could see the screen and you could see the house. To build this house in Canada, you're looking at about $850,000 just to build this house. Never mind the land. And unfortunately, in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom, we just don't have these opportunities like Americans do. America's pretty much 100% freehold land. They don't have crown land like we do. They have state parks and stuff, but it doesn't take up 98% of the country, right? Like our crown land does, you know?
I know exactly what you're saying. It's very interesting. We're very similar, but yet very different.
You know, we can't buy nothing like this. 5 bedrooms on this. Look at this. I mean, you can't see the screen, but when you go watch it on replay, you're going to look back and you're probably going to call me and ask me, Mike, give me the number on the Zillow. That number I want to know what that place is, because I might even buy that on my credit card, because that's how bad it's, you know.
Yeah, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. What are you seeing on your end, Mike?
Things are getting pretty tough. Oh, we're getting trolls on. Wait, why does Lord Humongous doesn't have a wrench? Hold on, let me give Lord Humongous a wrench here. Add moderator. Sorry, bud. I don't know why he doesn't have his wrench. Oh, you know what? Because the channel got suspended like 14 times. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a horrible individual, Mike.
Yeah. But no, what I'm seeing on our side right now, this is what I'm seeing, okay? And this is I'm playing let me give you the play-by-play. So what buyers need to know about the changing housing markets, the Globe and Mail, don't even read the article. I'll explain to you what buyers need to know, is that wait till wages and incomes are tied to housing prices until you buy a home, period. And then just tying it into Canada would be in a recession without money laundering to prove it. And talking about the record flight of capital coming in from Canada coming into Canada from Hong Kong and China mainland is done. It's over. And Canada can't secure the Taiwan deal to bring in wealthy investors. And Singapore lures new wave of Chinese investors eyeing good schools and stability. So it looks like we're going to get a breath of breathing room from like people just dumping their money in our country, right? A Chinese buyer dropped $61 million in 20 condo units. That's what's fueling Singapore's home prices. So it looks like Singapore. And one thing I mentioned in the show, Steve, I want to throw out there is a lot of people that I've been noticing that a lot of people that come to Canada now, I noticed that they come from countries where owning a home is only for rich people anyway. So they come here to work and live in the city and get around type of thing, and not come here to build the American or the Canadian dream that we had back in the 80s, where you work a job and buy a house and pay it off in 5 years. A lot of people that have been coming to Canada now are coming just to work and kind of get around type of thing, and never really expecting the American dream anymore, Steve. Am I right or wrong?
Sorry, say that again, Mike.
Ooh, that was a long one, Steve. Okay.
No, just the last bit about what their expectations are.
Like, do you think... Is the expectations, like our expectations that we're expecting for our kids, I think they're high in a way because living the Canadian dream and whatnot is unobtainable now for people coming into the country now. Are people that are just trying to get around, working fast food, doing this, or even getting a career job, but already under the impression that they'll never own property because in their countries, owning property is unattainable anyway. So they're not going to come to Canada to own property. They're just coming to Canada to be in Canada and just kind of get by. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly right. So what we're seeing right now is I am a firm believer that in the next 7 to 10 years, I will not be able to, with all the mass amount of people retiring, guys that are, 15, 20 years older than me, that are still in the trade, that are obviously going to be long since retired. We're going to have a problem with getting actual people in the workforce, especially in the trades. And a lot of people won't want to work that hard. Will want to work other jobs just to get by because they'll never own anything.
But could it be, Steve, could we be looking, because we're looking at a European expansion perspective from our parents. We're looking at that expansion perspective where, okay, my kids now, I'm going to have to send my kids to college in the States so they could apply for a green card and live there, so they could be in a market where they could just go and live a normal life depending on what state they're in, right? In Canada, it's unobtainable. Even if my kids started working at 8 years old now, today, they still wouldn't be able to afford a down payment on a home if things don't correct, right? So,
well, that's exactly right. But things are going to correct, and regrettably, we are going to see the brunt of it. I personally believe over the next 15 or 20 years, Canada is going to be an absolute gong show. It is not going to be a good place to live. Nobody's going to want to do business here. We are going to see some really, really difficult times because we're going to go through a mass period of stagflation, and we're going to see interest rates go up and down like a yo-yo. They will do whatever they can to kickstart the economy once they bring it down to the floor. Similar to what happened, in 2004, 2005.
Let's go back to the early 80s where they raised interest rates like 13%.
Right. And
16%, I think it was.
They literally had to go ahead, and in order for people to start buying houses again and feel confident and get people into the market, because people were so unqualified and had no money, first-time buyers, it went from, you needed, 10% down. Then you only needed 5% down. Then you could buy a house with no money down. And for a period of time there, they were actually giving you a negative mortgage because they were allowing you to put 5% down, and then they gave it back to you in a line of credit. I know. I owned a house then.
Mm-hmm.
So they will do some crazy things over the next, I want to say, 5 to 7 years to restart the economy as soon as it goes to the floor.
Are you ready for this? Let me see if I could find it here. Here it is. Okay, I'm not making this up. Australia will pay foreigners $50,000 to buy a home in Australia. That's from a year ago. Because Australia was losing the foreign investing market to the blue states of America because Donald Trump was out. So Joe Biden came in, and Australia will pay foreigners $50,000 to buy a home. Let me get the article open here. Let me see if I have the article open here to show you guys here, just so you could see. And yeah, Australia will pay foreigners up to $50,000 to buy a new home. That's how desperate they got in Australia to bring that foreign money back, because it was drying up really fast in Australia. So that's how desperate some of these countries got to bring in foreign investing. And now with foreign investing drying up in Canada, what's going to happen, Steve? There's so much bad money in this. Like, there's so much dark money. What's going to happen now?
Well, what's going to happen now is we're on a sinking ship, and now we're about to see who's got a life jacket. And just because you have a life jacket doesn't mean you're going to be okay. It means you will probably survive, but you will be so close to losing everything. It's not even funny. There are people that are they see that they're in a negative equity position right now. I see it every day, Mike. They're in a negative equity position, and
they're underwater.
They're underwater, and they just say, forget it. We're gone. We're out of here. They leave before, and people say, oh, well, why did they leave? They don't want to be around when the bank comes and checks, occupancy and this and that. They want to save face with the neighbors. They're embarrassed. Mm-hmm. This is a difficult time for many, many people. But you want to know who I blame, Mike? I blame the banks and members of organized real estate.
100%. And the governments and the government regulations and the government's deregulation of the banking system.
Absolutely. 150%. And these realtors, they knew exactly what they were doing. It was just to make, and I get it. You got to make money. It is what it is. But like selling a property for $100,000 over at list price and then setting a new precedent on the street and then continuously doing that, that's where we got here today. It was all a house of cards. It should have come down 2.5, 3 years ago before COVID. End of story, full stop.
But the reason why it took off during COVID is because of, again, the amount of Canada playing all the sides of the fence and bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars into Canada. And now, again, investors not looking at Canada anymore. Neither are Australia, and neither they're looking at the blue states either. Do you know why Chinese investors are being scared now to buy in America right now, and why a lot of them are selling and retreating from the United States, Steve? Do you know why?
No, I don't. Go ahead.
I'll tell you why. Because of what's happening with Russia and how America seized a bunch of Russian oligarchs' properties and all kinds of Russian assets in America. China is seeing that too, and China knows it's a threat through its communist tactics, right? So,
Oh, for sure. China definitely has the cognizance of the guilt. They're just as bad as Russia.
So, but China now is looking and starting to sell off property and corporate levels of structures. Of different levels of structured companies and selling off real estate now and throwing it on the market because they're afraid of losing it. Because all America has to do is with the stroke of a pen, just like they took all of the Russian assets away, they could just do it to China if they feel like it, right? And the Chinese are waking up to that and they're realizing, let's go to Singapore now because it's not going to work here in America either. So it looks like it's going to be a bumpy ride, and because of the amount of dark money that we have in our housing market is absolutely horrendous. So how it falls off is beyond me. How it corrects, it's going to be something to write in the books, man.
I agree, but I got to ask yourself as an independent small business owner, and anybody else that's in business, whether small, medium sized business. I mean, if you work large corporate, it really doesn't apply to you. But generally, I'd love people to comment in the comments section and really, I guess, tell everybody or tell what they're seeing in terms of consumer confidence. How much has it gone down? What are we seeing in terms of overall people's money that they're spending? Obviously, the economy is contracting, and it's going to continue to do so. But there are certain warning signs. We've already seen the cracks, and now we're starting to see, people really, really start to pull back, or at least I am, in terms of overall consumer confidence. And Mike, I mean, whether it be a water heater, a furnace, an air conditioner, I have no choice but to start offering monthly payments. There's a third-party service. They'll come in and they'll finance the whole deal.
Yeah, Wells Fargo or Citibank or Citi Financial, those guys, there's a lot of third-party people that you could send people to, and they apply through them, and then they get the credit approval, and then you go ahead as the contractor and do the work for them.
Yeah, people just don't have the money. They're flat out broke, and all they, people buy these houses and they mortgage themselves to the point of no return, and they have no emergency fund. One of them gets sick, can't work for 6 months, they're screwed. There's so many people not even living so close to the edge. They're hanging from the edge.
Speaking of hanging from the edge, I want to throw something out there, but I got to be very careful how I say this, okay? Lord Humongous just commented saying Sri Lanka's in full collapse. And I've been getting messages from various different people. I don't even know how they know of my existence. From Colombo and in Sri Lanka and outer areas of Colombo, and telling me that I got to be careful here, okay, Steve? They are in the dark right now because they don't want the truth to get out. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
I'm sure
that's how bad the truth is. The truth hurts so much that they have to leave people in the dark, literally in the dark. Like, I'm talking no power. And that's why this Saturday's Mike of the Night, I think, is going to be a kick butt show. If you guys want to join us on Mike of the Night this Saturday, Blackouts to Suppress the Truth. I'll give you guys the link for this Saturday on Mike of the Night. Unfortunately, we just can't talk about this here on this channel because it's going to shut me down. So Blackouts to Suppress the Truth on Mike of the Night, episode 446, rolling backouts and power disruptions as the narrative falls apart on Mike of the Night this Saturday, Steve. Unfortunately, okay, now let me throw this in your ball in your court, Steve. Do you see the truth getting so hard or hurt so hard that they have to shut the power off on us?
I think I don't want to go too far out on a limb, but I think this whole situation with COVID, as much as COVID was alive and well, I am a firm believer that this was very much so a test to see how far they could go.
Testing ground, yeah.
Yeah, with respect to control. And if you really want to control people, two things are going to end up happening. One thing's for sure, and they've already started to do it and lay the groundwork, especially in Canada. They will go ahead and they will disarm us. They will take away our guns, because they're already in the process of doing it. And once they've done that, they have basically full control over the situation. Same thing that happened in Austria and other countries. So once we do no longer have the ability to fight back and say, no, this is wrong,
Against
we're not
government
going to do
tyranny.
this. That's right. And we no longer have the tools to do so, literally the tools to do so. And people can laugh all they want. This is as true as it gets. If we no longer have that ability to do that, then they will start screwing around with the power. They will start screwing around further with the food supply. They will do a number of different things. So maybe I'm wrong. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I kind of wanted to get you. I wanted to get you on the show to get your feedback on the ground and how many on average, how many homes per week are you guys taking back to the bank, or how many homes at the bank? Like 8 to 13 a week, or
right now I'm on number 5
for the day.
For the day.
Wow.
Yeah, for the day. So at this point, that's where we're at. And number 5 for the day. And I'm sure, in a couple of weeks, it'll be 6, it'll be 7, it'll be 4. The fact that the consistency is just increasing, every day or every week is rather alarming, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I just wish, Steve, every time, like, I just wish we could be more like America in many ways, where we could have free land, where we don't have this crown land. Somebody in the comments earlier said that 90% of Ontario is crown land. And I believe it. I believe it's that high, because once they start unlocking land and giving freehold land to the people, you would see price of housing go down like 98%, literally overnight. Because the land is free to people, right? And they'll be selling 40, 50 acres of land for like 10 grand because there was so much of it to get rid of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there'll just be a mass sell-off of parcels of land and whatnot. Yeah, I understand exactly where you're coming from there. That makes total sense.
That's why America's a freehold society, where the whole country, like, I'm looking at 6 bedrooms, 4 baths, house for sale in Georgia, $125,000. And I mean, you can't even build this in Canada for $600,000.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And you know what? Down there, don't kid yourself. It's not all built very well, but it's built pretty good.
No, these homes from the Civil War look like they're still standing like well.
Okay, I can't see what you're looking at, but
these are like Civil War homes. Like this has a price cut of $34,000, so it's at $125 now. I'm going to keep an eye on a house like this and see if it gets down to $60. I'll buy it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that are going to start to buy real estate down there as things start to recede, and they're actually going to be okay. I have many, many clients that are looking to do that, because what they will actually end up doing is they will end up going down there. They are in their late 50s, early 60s, ready for retirement, and they've made their money. They don't care if their business isn't, they can't sell their business and for a profit, whether they have to shut the doors, whatever it may be. They've made their wealth, and now it's time to make a calculated risk and an effort to retain as much money as they possibly can, because as it sits right now, every day that they have money in the bank, inflation is just killing them. So they have to deploy capital, and they need to keep it flowing. And right now, you can't deploy capital in the real estate market in Canada.
$140,000, 5 bedroom, 3 baths, 2,000 square foot, beautiful starter home for a family. Canadian young families will kill for this.
Yeah, there's going to be people are going to leave. And they are going to do whatever they possibly can to get out of Canada if it gets real bad. And I think it's going to get pretty bad here, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because again,
That's my story.
a lot of this land is again, it's all freehold land, right? So you could, I mean, we don't have that. Unfortunately, New Zealand has crown land. Australia has crown land. All the countries in the Commonwealth pretty much have crown land, and unfortunately, for us, it's like and we pay property tax through the wazoo. I was looking at property taxes on some of those homes, like $203 a year.
That low?
Yeah, well, in some parts, yeah. I have a friend in Texas that's paying like $440 a year for, I don't know, like 29 acres of land with a nice house and an unsanctioned home, and he uses it for hog hunting, and he pays like under $400, $500 a year.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going to look into all that because, yeah, I mean, I could pick up where I am, and yeah, if I, even if I got a small rate of return on my money, I could pretty much live comfortable. And
well, you're a skilled tradesman, so you wouldn't have this issue. Like you as a plumber, like if you moved to Merritt when I moved to Merritt, oh my God. If you moved to Merritt when I moved to Merritt, back when I moved here, you would have to turn off your phone because the calls that would be coming in would be horrendous because the flooding, the fires, the this, the that. You would never stop working here. You know what I'm saying? And you would have bought a house like I did for $260,000.
yeah, there's something to be said about that. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting time, that's for sure. But I don't want to keep you, Mike. I'll let somebody else call in.
Oh, it's only a 1 hour show, so I'm going to be wrapping it up here in a few minutes here. So, anyways.
Well, I'll let you go. I should get back to work.
Go to work.
But it's really good to be with you, Mike. Thanks for thanks for calling.
Thanks, brother. God bless. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
All right, guys. That's Steve the Plumber. It's been a long while. It's been a while since we had him on the show. And, tonight's show, it's just a simple show right through. We get through it and we do our best. And we were live earlier and then we got cut off halfway through the transmission. And I was afraid they banned my channel again because they usually just come on and ban it and they don't give you a warning. And I think I've been banned on YouTube while I'm doing a live stream. So ASX got smashed the last 2 weeks as Hitting Stacks. Hitting Stacks was on the last episode of Mike in the Night. If you guys want to join us on, here, let me give you the link, guys, here. If you guys want to join us on Mike in the Night, we will be live on, this is the Mike in the Night this Saturday. If you guys want to join us on Odyssey, Blackouts to Suppress the Truth. I honestly wholeheartedly think they're going to put us in the dark to keep us from knowing or keeping people from spreading the truth. And that's what I think is going to happen, guys. And here, I want to give you the link to the Odyssey channel, guys. If you want to subscribe here, this is where you'll find Mike in the Night on Saturdays. A lot of people thought I just stopped doing it. No, we're on episode 446. And you go back, there's other episodes here. Was it Open Lines was last Open Lines last Saturday on Mike in the Night. And then the weekend before we did Market Disaster episode 444. And then we did what was it? Where is it? I don't see it. Market Disaster. And then we did Disarming Citizens All Over the World. And that's what Steve was talking about there, episode 442. And then we did another call-in show, 441. And then Proxy War to Nuclear War, 440. And it just keeps going on. Mike in the Night. We got almost 300. This one's good. Food Riots. Mike in the Night, episode 436, Food Wars and Food Riots. 436 was a good one. And Big Brother's Watching You, 435, Surveillance wrapping up. Weather Warfare, 434. So don't forget to join us on Odyssey if you want to catch back shows of Mike in the Night. And artbydano.com, artbydano.net, and kiwiradio.nz, mikeinthenight.com. You could find back issues or back issues. I keep saying issues. Back of shows of audio only of there you could find. Well, that's it, folks. I can't really. Yeah, that's a good question. Where is Porno Pete? I haven't heard from him in a while. Anyways, guys, unfortunately, I can't. Who the hell is posting all this spam on here? So I keep hiding people on the channel. I've already. Okay, well, I don't know what the heck is going on here. All right, so everyone's deleting everybody's messages here. What's going on, folks? It says here that Steve the Plumber deleted a message, but Steve the Plumber is working. There's no way he could come on here. Did somebody get a wrench without a wrench? Okay, is that him? I don't know if I gave a wrench to the wrong person a long time ago. I am the real STP. Okay, that's him. We call him STP. I'm glad Trends is back. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys coming on and being part of the channel, liking and subscribing and the whole jazz. I appreciate it very much. And that's it, folks. I don't know what episode we are on, but it is... What's the date today? Today is... Let's find out what today's date is. It is June 29th, 2022. Mike Martins signing off for Trends in the Housing Market. Thanks for joining us and being part of the channel, liking and subscribing. And thank you to Debbie Kozak for sending that $50 super chat. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Mike Martins here. I have